So one of the other things that I was thinking about that is going to look very different is recruiting. I know people who have interviewed and landed jobs and pivoted their careers during this pandemic. And so, how do you think virtual recruiting is going to impact employers and employees or people seeking to land new jobs?
So, for many years now, I've been telling employers if you haven't figured out how to use social media to recruit, you're way behind the pack, right? If you are using old fashioned methodologies in your recruitment techniques, you are not making your website a great way to
Right.
get out there to candidates and let people know what your brand is, you're again behind the pack and missing out on opportunities. I would fast forward that to today and say, if you haven't figured out how to start interviewing candidates via Zoom, figure it out, right? Get
Right,
some training, learn how to do it, get help. If you need help, find a partner to help you do it, but it's going to be the norm. If it isn't already, many organizations I think have felt like we don't have any open positions right now. By the time we're ready to hire again, the world will return to normal. I think, video recruiting, video interviews are here to stay. So how are you going to project your organization's image? I think organizations need to think about who they're having on that interview team, right? So I know lots of organizations like group interviews. Well, do you want to start right out of the pack, right on the initial interview, having a big team Zoom? Or do you want to wait? So you might want to restructure your entire selection process around this new way of doing business. I just had a great question from a member employer say, what if final candidates are refusing to come to an in-person interview? Is that a deal breaker? And I had a long conversation with them about why they might want to eliminate that as a job requirement, right? That they might be losing some of their best candidates who have health-related reasons, very solid reasons for not wanting to get on an airplane to come to an interview, and how they might work around that, and again, be more open-minded and flexible in order to get the best candidate.
Going back to the recruiting, how can companies incent their top talent to stick around now that the labor force is opening up?
Find out what they need, what they want, what they value, and try to figure out, even in a tough economic environment, if your organization can offer it. And if not, find alternatives. So many organizations right now have frozen pay. They have perhaps cut back on their 401k contributions. People are not getting to go on business trips or stay in nice hotels or go to conferences. A lot of things that many professionals value and provide a kind of a nice break, as well as learning and networking opportunities throughout the year. What can you do to replace those things? Are there memberships that employees value? Could you set up some incentive plans that are really tied to an individual's goals or short-term objectives? So it's a give and take. Compensation is one way of communicating, and you've heard that as a theme throughout, but how you can communicate someone's value, I think we've learned during this period, many people value flexibility and they like to manage their own time. So if companies think that they can just pull that right back and have employees not be looking for something else in return, I think they might be in for an unpleasant surprise.
An eye-opening,
Yes, and also there are going to be many organizations who no longer have geographic boundaries when recruiting new team members. If they're allowing everyone to work remotely, a top candidate in Arizona might not look like they're very far away anymore. Right? And so there's going to be opportunities, as there always are, for strong candidates to get jobs. And so you need to be taking good care of your talent and your stars and letting them know that you value them and finding out what it is that they value.